Welcome back to PMP exam prep, and the mindset is what we're focusing on in this series. We're going through 35 videos where we're going to address each domain and each task in that domain. So today is task 4 in the people domain, empowering team members and stakeholders. Here's the question. In an Agile project, the development team consistently waits for the product owner to make granular decisions on user story details, slowing sprint progress. The product owner feels overwhelmed. What is the Scrum Master's most effective strategy to empower the team? Is it A, advise the product owner to create more exhaustive user story acceptance criteria to eliminate all potential ambiguities before sprint planning? Is it B, implement a strict rule that the team must resolve all minor ambiguities internally, escalating only critical blocking issues to the product owner for resolution? Or is it C, coach the team on defining definition of ready and definition of done with greater clarity, fostering team ownership of solution details with defined boundaries, within defined boundaries? Or is it D, recommend assigning a dedicated business analyst to the team to serve as an intermediary for all detailed requirement clarifications, reducing direct interaction with the product owner? I'll give you some time to think about the answer. All right, hit the pause button if you need more time, but let's jump straight into the process of elimination. So, the problem in this question is sprint progress is being slowed as a result of the product owners needing to make granular decisions on user story details. This is about the details of the story. And it says they are consistently waiting for this to be done. Moreover, the product owner is feeling overwhelmed. We don't want that. So what is our most effective strategy to empower the product owner and the team members? Let's start from the top in this one. A, advise the product owner to create more exhaustive user story acceptance criteria. That means greater levels of detail of acceptance criteria. And then it says to eliminate all, that's a big word, potential ambiguities before sprint planning. Eliminate is a big word. It's like 100% there are no ambiguities. But beyond that, adding more detail of user story acceptance criteria may not necessarily solve this problem. Having more detail in a story seems to be just putting what this product owner is doing in the sprint, bringing it forward, and just following a bland rule to just put more detail. You know what? We favor individuals and interactions more than processes and tools. It's the dialogue that we prefer than having big old documentation, right? So customer collaboration, right, over contract negotiation, and a working product over comprehensive documentation. So we got to tread carefully when we're asking the product owner to just make the stories bigger. So I wouldn't choose A. Let's go to B. Implement a strict rule that the team must resolve all minor ambiguities internally, escalating only critical blocking issues to the product owner for resolution. Now, this is against the grain of Agile. Things like, oh, make a strict rule, you must do this before this. You can immediately smell it a mile away. This is an un-Agile approach. not the best thing to do. And escalating only blocking issues? No, that does not make sense. We should be free in the world of Agile to escalate anything as we see fit. Remember, it's decentralized leadership. So we're all leaders and we've got the discretion and the gumption to know, hey, I feel like escalating this. When you put these rules in place, you're moving away from the Agile grain. All right, let's go to C. Coach the team on defining definition of ready and definition of done with greater clarity, fostering team ownership of solution details within defined boundaries. Now, if you remember what exactly is the definition of ready and what is the definition of done, this might actually be a good option. Let's talk about the definition of ready. The definition of ready is an agreed upon checklist that ensures a task or a user story or work item is sufficiently prepared and well understood before the team begins working on it. A very common acronym in the world of definition of ready, or DOR, is a concept of the INVEST acronym. And the INVEST acronym, INVEST, I in the INVEST acronym just means independent, then negotiable, valuable, estimable, small enough to fit within a sprint, and testable. If your user stories meet the definition of ready that you as a team has defined, then you are likely to need so much additional granular decisions and handholding from the product owner. So definition of ready helps you as you are getting into the work of the sprint. So you got to think about it as a checklist. A checklist, think about it like a pilot flying a plane, right? Before the pilot takes off, they go through a checklist, and you don't leave the runway if the basics aren't right. Similarly, on an IT project, on a development project, you wouldn't start coding, designing, or building if the story isn't truly ready. It's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. So when you have a good understanding of the definition of ready and the definition of done, your chances of success are increased. Now, what exactly is the definition of done? In the same vein, the definition of done is like a shared agreement within the team that defines what done means for the increment, right? The definition of done is not for a user story per se. It is for an increment. So it's a shared agreement that defines what done means for any work item, any PSI, potentially shippable increment. We generally use this at the increment level, even though in the real world, some people may use it at lower levels. So we can also look at the definition of done again as a concise checklist of criteria that a product backlog item, or we should say a potentially shippable increment, must meet to be considered complete and ready for release. So for example, you could say the PSI, the increment, isn't done if all the individual acceptance criteria have not been met. You could say code is written and peer reviewed, unit tests are created and passed, code is merged, the feature is integrated and tested. Things such as that. Documentation is complete, no bugs remain, work is deployable or deployed. Now, I know we've spent a lot of time on this question because it contains agile terminology that some might blow past. So in this instance, I would say option C, talking about definition of ready and definition of done, having that being defined with greater clarity is a good way of avoiding this issue, waiting for the product owner to clear up granular decisions on user stories. Okay? And lastly, we have option D, recommend assigning a dedicated business analyst to the team to serve as an intermediary. That goes against the grain of Agile because this is an Agile project. Typically, we have the T-shaped skills mentality, the broken comb. That is kind of how we roll in the world of Agile. So option D wouldn't fly, and therefore the best option is C, to empower an Agile team and increase decision-making velocity. The Scrum Master should coach them on establishing clear boundaries for their autonomy, defining definition of ready, definition of done. It empowers the team to make detailed solution decisions within agreed upon parameters, reducing reliance on the product owner for every minor detail. So what we're saying, if you want decisions to be made in a more timely manner without having to cry to the product owner each time, make sure your definition of ready and your definition of done are pristine. Okay? I hope you found value from this. Remember to check out pmradio.org, study.pmradio.org, and pmp.pmradio.org for study aids to help you in your journey. One of the things I always say in these sessions, my friends, is the PMP exam for many is not difficult. What is difficult is a time management aspect. As you can see, reading a question like this takes a lot of time. You have to get quicker, you have to get more decisive, and you have to get used to seeing questions with a familiar thesis so you immediately know where the question is going, and that shortens your reaction time. That's key. If you're looking for a course that helps you cover all of the 35 tasks, head on down to tinyurl.com/elite PMP. You may very well find a course that can help you narrow down your weak areas and help you strengthen you for the actual test. Take care, and bye for now.